Coming up, I'm going to be talking about the future of Doctor Who on Disney+. We're also going to see maybe the return of the Russo brothers for the upcoming Avengers movies. Plus, Disney has an amazing night at the Emmy nominations. All of them all coming up in today's Disney Plus news. But make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest. Now, currently, Avengers Kang Dynasty, as it was formerly known, is set to come out on the 1st of May in 2026. And then the following May in 2027, we're expect to get Secret Wars. So filming obviously is going to have to start pretty soon to get that one done. And also in general, we've seen Marvel really cutting back on how much content it's making, how many films, how many shows, etc. So it's going to have a lot less stuff to kind of put together in that time. But maybe they can be a little bit more focused and kind of tell a single story and kind of get... I personally never really liked the idea of them doing the multiverse. And I think just getting this thing out the way, clearing things up, sorting stuff out, and essentially kind of rebooting the MCU so they can bring in brand new X-Men, either reboot or restart Captain America and Iron Man, and get just to kind of get the gang back together, because we've kind of lost a lot of those original Avengers. And so yeah, I think that would be a good way of kind of either, like I said, rebooting them, doing something with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I actually think this is a good move. They haven't done some amazing films on Netflix since they left Marvel, but no doubt 4 of the big movies that they did for Marvel are fantastic. They also did Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Civil War. So I really would love them to kind of jump in and do this. Recently, it was revealed that Shawn Levy was involved in the project, but don't know what he's doing, and maybe they're doing another film. I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe another Deadpool film coming in at some point. But yeah, I think this will be a good idea. But let me know, do you think the Russo brothers returning is a good idea for Marvel? Love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Shifting gears now, let's now talk about the Emmys. Yesterday, the nominations for this year's event were taking place, and Disney picked up a record-breaking 183 nominations across all of its studios. So that includes Disney Plus, Hulu, FX, etc. Way out more than like Netflix or HBO. But kind of the weird way that Disney they put in all their kind of studios in as separate things. So there's been articles like Netflix leads the way, and it's like, no, Disney does, but because of the way that it gets reported, yeah, it doesn't. So Disney were way ahead of everybody else. The Bear was up for so many nominations. So was Shōgun. This is a big thing for Disney, especially in the TV industry side of things. Earlier this year, the Emmys did take place a little bit later than normal due to last year's Hollywood strikes. But they're back on schedule now. But we saw so many nominations for different shows and films. For example, Jim Henson's recent documentary, that picked up 8. Also X-Men 97, Only Murders in the Building, Abbott Elementary, Under the Bridge. The list just goes on and on. Welcome to Wrexham. I mean, there is so many nominations. They are killing it right now in terms of television. Some great stuff is coming out. So we're obviously going to have to wait until September until the event takes place and we get to see who wins. But really good haul of nominations. I mean, yeah, out of 183 nominations, they better pick up something, because otherwise that's not going to be good. But I think Shōgun is going to dominate. I think The Bear is going to dominate. Those shows are fantastic. Obviously, you can watch them on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. But yeah, really big win, I think, for Disney with those nominations. But what do you think is going to win? And you can also check out the full list of nominations. I'm not going to read them out now. We'll be here all week. Let's now talk about Doctor Who and its future on Disney+, because it's looking a little bit ropey right now. Because way back in 2022, Disney signed this new deal with the BBC, which brought the show onto Disney+ around the world while keeping it exclusively on the BBC here in the UK. So last year we saw the 60th anniversary specials, which saw the return of David Tennant as the Doctor. We've never seen a Doctor kind of do this kind of thing before, but at the end of his 3 specials, kind of got split into 2, which introduced Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor, and that then set up the Christmas special, and then that led on to the new season. So it was like a new way of numbering it, because I kind of restarted it for the new Disney Plus era. So with the launch of the new Doctor Who, I'll be honest, I really enjoyed the Christmas special, and then we went into the new series, and it just didn't quite hit properly. Audience numbers were down. Here in the UK, we were getting numbers from overnight, and they were drastically down, about 2.5 million per episode. It was going up and down. There was a little bit of flex. Obviously down from a few years ago and massively down from a long time ago. Now, the BBC did say that generally, you know, the overnight ratings weren't so important because the show had been out on iPlayer for like sort of 12, 24 hours beforehand, and more people are watching it online, which I agree, you know, generally viewership has dropped. But my big problem with the Doctor Who success is the fact that we have heard zip out of Disney. We have never heard how well any of these have done. And normally they like to toot their own horns when something has done very well. We hear about shows like recently, like Descendants did really well. They put out an announcement. When Acolyte did well, they put out a couple of announcements. You know, when Taylor Swift did well, they put out Doctor Who, nothing. Which to me is always an indication of they haven't got anything good to say, they don't say anything. And this is not a good sign. It also very rarely got very high on the trending chart on Disney Plus itself. It never appeared on the Nielsen's trending chart either, which obviously is from external data. So again, we've got no data showing that it's done very well on Disney Plus at all, and Disney's not put out there. And I think that is a problem. Deadline did do an article where they were highlighting the fact that the viewership has not been too good, the negative feedback, because obviously some people just not enjoyed the series. They've not enjoyed kind of how much more progressive it is, people calling it woke, etc. And this has all just led to, you know, I mean, a lot of that was being put on Disney's, you know, and basically with this show, anything bad, it was Disney, and everything good was the BBC. That's kind of how it's been online. But we all know things are a little bit more complicated than that. Disney does have an input into it. They did make some changes. For example, we know to the Christmas special, they wanted a scene at the front with a bit more action in it. But overall, the series has just not done very well. I didn't think the series as a whole was great. There were some amazing episodes that I really enjoyed. 73 Yards. There was quite a few actually ones in there that I did enjoy, but there was also some awful ones like Space Babies. That was dire. How they thought that was a good idea to launch the series with that episode, and no wonder it didn't go anywhere, because that was just dreadful. This show, with the addition of Disney's money, was able to boost up its budget, and we really saw an increase in how well it looked. But it still just looks so amateur, and I also feel like the show doesn't translate so well to today's way of looking at things. You know, it's not serious, and people want to take it seriously, like Marvel and Star Wars and Game of Thrones, etc. But this show is tongue-in-cheek, and it doesn't really take some of it very seriously, and just hasn't connected. And I think this will mean that the show is not likely to move ahead too much further with Disney's involvement. Now, that doesn't mean that the show is going to be cancelled, because the BBC own it, they operate it, they will continue to do it. Now, they have filmed a second season, and there's a Christmas special coming, so they're going to be involved for a little bit more. But some of the telltale signs that I think this is coming to an end will be the fact that Disney did really not a lot of advertising for the show. They put out did one event in LA. They got Shudi and Millie to go to Disneyland and did some photos there. That was it. Even at next week's San Diego Comic-Con, there's a couple of big panels going on. Disney aren't seen to be promoting it. It wasn't kind of coming up from anything from them. They're even doing a panel with Star Trek. A bit weird. D23, no mention there of Doctor Who I can see anywhere in anything. It feels a bit like Disney have just gone, we don't want to be kind of spending any more money on this. I think that also comes in with the fact that this was maybe a deal that was done by Bob Chapek, and then when he moved, they were kind of locked into it. They just decided not to invest any more in it. It just doesn't feel like there's been a lot of advertising. They've done some stuff here and there, but after the first week, they just kind of stopped. Even just putting out the trailers and stuff. The BBC are putting out all the information. The Disney just don't seem to be doing a lot and don't seem to be promoting it. They didn't seem to pick up the rights for the old series either. They didn't spend any money to get hold of them. And overall, I just don't feel that Disney is involved in this show. I just don't think they want it. I don't think it's hitting where it wants to. And I think that when their contract comes to an end, I don't think they're going to continue. And I think they'll come out of it. And the BBC will carry on, but the budgets will get a bit smaller and stuff. But yeah, I think the fact now that you've got major trades now kind of going, and there was a number of people in the article talking about the fact that it's not done very well. And yeah, I've been thinking this for a long time. Ever the way that it was with the 60th anniversary specials, where there was radio silence, it was a bit this is a bit weird. But it was okay, well, we're just waiting, for the new series. And then it was it kind of came and went, and there just didn't seem to be a lot of promotion for it. And I feel like it's just been swept under, and now that second season is really going to have to do really good numbers to get up there. But I'd love to know, do you think Doctor Who is going to carry on with the BBC involved? And as I said, doesn't mean it's over. It's been cancelled before, and the BBC will continue to do it, but just Disney's involvement, I think it looks a little bit ropey. But what do you think? In our question of the day, which comes from Frost Gamers, who says, why did I get an ad for a movie when I watched The Acolyte and I'm on Premium? Thought it was ad-free. So this one comes up quite a little bit of where people are on the premium version, that you obviously don't get the ads. You know, you get a little bumper at the beginning, kind of showing you a new show or a movie that's out on Disney Plus, and then people go, well, I should get this. And the simple truth is, it's not an ad. This is the big difference. It's a promotion. It's a bumper. It's not considered an advert in the same way that you're thinking of, you know, if they, you know, they're like at the beginning of Kardashians, where it says it's sponsored by, you know, I think L'Oreal or whatever it is. The simple truth is, yeah, an advert for the bear in front of, if you start watching The Old Man, is not considered an advert in their eyes. It's promotion. Other platforms do the same. Even here, like the BBC doesn't have any ads on it, but we still end up getting at the end of each show and before the next one, there'll be a little trailer and stuff. And that's in some way how they'll justify it. It's kind of a trailer. It's not an advert, some say. So yeah, you are going to see these kind of things. It's just a way of promoting shows and getting stuff. I don't think it's a bad thing. It happens on Apple TV as well and on Paramount. I think this is sometimes a good thing. You can always skip that button, but more importantly, sometimes it's just getting that attention on shows and stuff that you maybe wouldn't be interested in. I would like it if it was at least acknowledged the fact that if you have watched it, don't show me the ad. Because, like, showing me the advert for the bear when I've already seen it is like, I didn't need to see that. But then Disney needs to work on their recommendation engine anyway. But nevertheless, again, you see something like this before a show or a movie, it's not an ad, it's a trailer. So that's kind of the way to look at it. I know some people get annoyed at it, but ultimately, you ain't got no choice, it's happening. On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you've got a great question, drop it in the comments below. The best one I'll pick out for tomorrow's video. On that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.